Oh, done it. Right. Okay. So that's muted. If you're in remote attendance, so you've dialed in, please can you keep your camera and microphone off unless you wish to speak or you're invited to speak during the meeting. Keeping the camera off helps with the the quality of the call. I must advise you that tonight the meeting is being recorded and data collected. During the recording, the meeting will be retained in accordance with the Council's data and retention policy, and it may be added to the Council's website. Members accessing remotely should use their SPC or KCC laptop to participate virtually. And if you're joining using the link on the website or on a mobile or tablet device, it's not always possible to identify you, and you may not be recorded as in remote attendance. If you can make sure you speak loudly and clearly into your microphones, that's both here and virtually, and switch your microphone off after speaking so that the participants don't hear you and can hear the next speaker. So, good evening, members and officers. Welcome to tonight's, and members of the public, visiting members. Tonight's meeting is being held on Tuesday, the 14th of November. So I'm going to advise you who's in attendance here tonight. We've got the Head of Regeneration, Economic Development, Property, and the Interim Head of Planning, Joanne Johnson. That is an extremely long title. Strategic Programme and Assets Manager, Kieran Mansfield, and Democratic Services Officer, Kelly McKenzie. There is no fire drill planned tonight, so if the alarm sounds, please head out the door using the exits and take me with you. Don't use the lift. Is there anyone needs any assistance? No, that's marvellous, thank you. Just to advise you that item 9, Central Stadium, Sittingbourne, this has been withdrawn from the agenda. Is there any apologies for absence and confirmation of substitutes? I know that Councillor Whiting has given his apologies as he's not well. And we have a substitution from, we have Councillor Mark Last here in place of Simon Clark. Is there anyone else?
Thank you, Chair. We also have apologies from Councillor Shelley Cheeseman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Members, please can you approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 13th September, that's minute numbers 281 to 286 as a correct record. Does everyone agree? Agreed, okay. Anyone not? That's okay, that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Is there any declarations of interest? No? Okay, the following items are Part B reports for decision by the Regeneration and Property Committee. Item 5 is the Property Asset Strategy Refresh and Property Procedure Rules. So if I can ask the officer, please, Kieran Mansfield, if you can introduce the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Evening, members. This report presents a draft of what would be a new property asset strategy, and alongside that, property procedure rules. These are a refresh on the extant document, which was actually dated from 2017 and at least on its cover expired in 2020, although it's been held over. It was the intention that this document would be relatively short and simple compared to its predecessor. It sets out, kind of seeks to reassert really some basic principles around the establishment of a more corporate landlord approach to the management of our property. The principal mechanism to do this would be the formation of a Officer Property Review Group, which would provide a kind of a corporate overview on council-owned property matters, so that decisions and recommendations to members come forward better informed from across the breadth of council services. and it recommends conducting an asset review of all our assets. I think it's fair to say that we know what we own. We broadly know in what kind of condition it's in, but we don't necessarily know what its future is or what our intentions are for it. So the asset review will be a critical part of that. In addition, the report sets out two policies, the principles for two policies that we would like to consult on around asset review and disposal and community asset transfer, particularly in the latter case, because that should be subjected to wider community consultation, with the intention being that we would then bring back a final version of the policy to be appended to the asset strategy at a future meeting of this committee. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Are there any members with questions they'd like to ask? Or shall I kick off? There you go. So I've read the report and I'm just looking at the appended policy. So in 2.3 commercial estate, it says the council currently has in its ownership a range of leased assets which would be classed as commercial property. Can we just rephrase that, because it sounds like our assets are leases? I think actually what it means is we've got freehold assets that we lease out to tenants.
Okay, yeah.
So I think it's just, yeah, just clarification of that wording is to, I mean, they could be freehold or long leasehold, but I think the general thrust is that we hold them the longer property interest and then that's let out for a commercial rent. So that's my only point. Anyone, anything else they want to add? Councillor Tucker?
Thank you, Chair. It's just on page 18, says the agenda in the papers to be circulated at least 3 days prior. I know in the Constitution it says 5. Is there a reason why it's 3 for this?
Do you want to come in there?
Yeah, Chair, thank you. Yeah, so this would be an officer property review group. So it would be solely circulated to the officers attending that group. So it sits outside of the Constitution in that sense.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other clarifications? And do we have any sort of understanding of the timetable for the community asset policy? How long that might take to go through that piece of work?
Subject to the committee approving tonight, we would be looking to start that pretty promptly, although be very conscious that consultation over the Christmas period isn't a good time to be conducting community consultation. So because of the way, the timing in terms of writing reports, I would imagine that it will come forward to the March committee.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else? No. Okay, I shall propose the recommendation as set out on the paper. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Stephen? Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Stephen's going to second. Okay, does anyone want to debate this? Or do we want to go straight to the vote? Straight to the vote, I can tell by the faces in here. Okay, right. Those in favour of the policy? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you, members. Okay, item 6, disposal of parcels of land associated with Bridge Road Car Park, Sheerness. And I'm going to hand over to Joanne Johnson to introduce the report.
Thank you very much, Chair. So I had in my head this would be a short and sweet item, so we may be out of here in record time tonight. This is something of a tidying up report. So members may recall or may be aware that back in March 2022, Cabinet, as was then, agreed to the disposal of the Bridge Road Car Park to East Kent College Group in the event that we were successful with our Levelling Up Fund bid so that they could build their college extension onto that land. Since we've been in negotiations with the college, it's come to light there are some separate parcels of land which sit between the college and the road and which could beneficially be transferred across to them as well. Those pieces of land are of no use to us. It's difficult for us to maintain them. It makes much more sense, for them to go across to the college alongside the car park transfer. Typically, disposals up to £10,000 sit within my gift as head of service under the scheme of delegation. And undeniably, these parcels of land, if sold on their own, would fall well within that threshold. Out of an abundance of caution, because we have considered adding those parcels of land to the car park because of the marriage value may increase the value of that land overall by more than £10,000. We wanted to bring it to committee. It didn't seem sensible to pay out to get a valuation on that. It just seemed sensible to bring it here tonight to tidy everything up. So what we are looking for now is for members to approve, please, the disposal of the car park land, and as you can see on the appendix plan, a strip of land adjoining that sits between the college and the main road. Thank you.
Okay, members' questions? I've got Councillor Tucker.
No brainer, Chair. Happy to propose.
Okay. Anyone want to ask any questions? Oh, okay, let's go straight to the. Well, you're proposing, and who wishes to second? Councillor Wise, seconding. Thank you. And we'll go straight to the vote. Those in favour, please show. Oh, that's unanimous. Thank you very much, members. Okay, I'm whizzing through this at breakneck speed. Item 7, forward plan. Any members have any questions about the forward plan? No, I suppose we can add to the forward plan is the community asset strategy. We can come back so we can put that, earmark that for March, possibly. Okay, that's lovely. So we'll add that. Anyone else? Anything else? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So I think we've covered everything tonight. So I'm going to close the meeting at, well, that's got to be record time, isn't it? 7:11. Thank you. For the members in attendance here tonight, come and have a look.